Hey guys, welcome to Picksburgh. This is Anthony, and you're joining us for episode number 49 of Collecting Profit, the podcast with myself and Huddle Card Collection. As you can see, Huddle Card Collection is not with us this evening. It's possible his son, Mike Jr., might be joining us at some point. But if not, no big deal. I'll hold the fort down, and I'm expecting you guys to bring some awesome questions for our guest this evening. I want to take a minute to introduce Richie Ray. He's the creator and the founder of Crap TCG, trading card game. Richie, thank you so much for agreeing to come on, man. It's a real honor and a privilege to talk to you and pick your brain.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super stoked to be here.
Yeah, man. I just actually found out about you not too long ago. I was at a Guy on the Couch for Small Business Saturday, and just going down his display on his counter, I just happened to stumble across your product, and he does something really unique to where he actually has like an open pack in front of like the packs that he has on his counter.
That's
And
awesome.
I just started sorting through, and I was just like falling in love with the product. You know what I mean? Like, not only am I a card nerd, but I also like TCG and stuff like that. Back in the day, I used to run a Pokemon league for my church.
Oh,
So like, I used to dabble in like some of the competitive side, like not like super competitive because it's like church. We're not gonna like shank somebody over it or nothing like that. But competitive enough to where like I wanted to beat all the little kids that would come to Pokemon League.
of course, always.
But since Josh has opened up Guy on the Couch, I've also been dabbling with Lorcana. My girlfriend and I just
Yeah.
bought our first starter decks, so we've been playing that. And then once I saw Oh Crap, I was like, literally, oh crap, I need to stop and see what this is all about.
Yeah.
A big shout out to my guy, Big John, Collector Cards. Appreciate you sharing out the stream, my friend. It's really awesome of you. My guy, Gate City Paul, is also in the house. Appreciate you being here, brother. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to fire them in the chat. As always, your questions are in play. If you guys have not yet, this is the link to the website. You guys want to check it out. I am going to pull it up though, so you guys can take a little bit closer of a look at the actual product, the game, and everything. And just like the tagline says, it is a buttload of fun.
It truly is.
So what was it that made you think of Oh Crap?
Okay, so my wife, my son, and I, we all would play Pokemon Go and drive around, and
Yeah.
we had a lot of fun doing that. And her and I, like, we'll go around and just sing stupid songs. We'll make up new words to existing songs. And she sang "Gotta Crap 'Em All, Poopymon," and I was like, hey, like, wouldn't that be funny if I did a card game, but like all the characters were made of poop? And she was like, that's dumb. And I was like, yeah, it is. And here we are. So, but yeah, that was basically the idea. And I had toyed around with it for a while. I had probably toyed around with it for 5 or 6 months before like we ever started actually working on it.
That's really cool. Now, did you create all of the art yourself, or did you have somebody else do that for you?
So I have a partner. His name's Gavin McDonald. He lives in Minnesota. He draws the actual characters themselves.
Nice.
I do the backgrounds and the card layouts and the move sets, like the mechanics and all that stuff. But Gavin and I work together. But yeah, he's the artist that draws the actual characters themselves. And like, I'll give him an idea, and like he does like the most amazing job bringing it to life. Like he is fantastic.
Awesome. That's really cool. Big John says this TCG sounds great for my daughter, who's currently obsessed with poop and fart jokes.
Yes,
And that's why I loved it, because like I've always been obsessed with poop and fart jokes. Like my mom like will tell people anytime like they mention me or Marty together, she'll be like, "Oh yeah, those two are still friends. Like they've been cackling like little girls since they were like, knee high to a grasshopper, about poop, farts, like all this, like whatever, you know what I mean? We're still the same. We never grew up. We're like Beavis and Butthead, just like grown up versions, like
I can't imagine like poop not being funny at any point. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, it's something everybody does. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right.
just looking at the characters just brings me joy, man.
It's been like so much fun coming up with like the names.
Monster.
Say that last thing one more time. I think you cut out for a second.
Sure. I said I haven't really looked into the names yet, but I'm guessing this guy on the main page there is the Crappy Monster.
So that's actually Dookie Monster.
Dookie Monster.
And
Gotcha.
his moves are me want Dookie, and his second move is Dookie Dookie Dookie.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So the guy in the middle, that's the Colonel.
Nice.
And his moves are rank and bombs away.
Nice.
And on the right there, that is Brittany Smears. And
Nice.
her moves are poops, and I did it again.
Nice. That is amazing. I love the thought that went behind some of these too. Like I'll show you the 3 that I have in my PC now that are like my favorite cards so far that I've pulled. Well, the first one is a promo card I got at the shop for buying stuff on Small Business Saturday. It's a Crap Jack.
Yeah.
And he does Bung Bung, which was just awesome because I'm a big wrestling fan. And Mick Foley's been like one of my favorite wrestlers. Like I've actually met him in person, so that was like perfect for me to get. And then I pulled these. These are my 2 favorite pulls out of the pack. I got Bung Jovi, and he does shot out a fart and you're to blame, which is just awesome. And then the Backdoor Boys, which is the shape of my fart, and I want it crappy.
And we have a lot of music references. Like we also have we have Instinct. And I think their moves are tearing up my fart, and it's going to be pee.
That's awesome.
And we've got Dolly Fartin.
Nice.
We've got Neat Loaf. There we got just the most ridiculous things that you could think of. Like, yeah, there they are. There's a bunch of them. So that first little batch there, those are all the cards that are in the starter decks. So the starter decks are static. They have 30 character cards and 6 dump cards, which is pretty much what you need to play in your deck. Okay. And then as you scroll down, you'll see the cards that are in the booster packs. And then, you can add on and build your deck and, you can duke it out with your friends, pun intended.
Nice. So out of curiosity, is there one character that like people would kind of be like, oh yeah, that's like the Charizard of Crap, like he's like the OP character that everybody wants to pull?
I think that probably Dookie, the number 1 card, is probably one of the more powerful cards in the deck. I would say aside from that is Sir Shatsalot. And nice. all of his he doesn't have a common version, so all of his versions are rare.
Oh, nice.
I think there's 3 variants, or there's 3 versions. 2 are rare, and 1 is an ultra rare.
The thing I like about these is it seems like almost all of the cards, like even like the baser, like I guess common cards, which would be in TCG, would all be like full arts. You know what I mean? Like every single card I got in my booster pack was all like a nice full art card. You know what I mean? Like, whereas like I've been opening up a lot of Lorcana, and like their best cards like kind of look like all of these, which is like super awesome. So like the art you guys put into this is really, really nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We worked on this for a long time. And as far as like, cause like, like with building the TCG, like we had to figure out the character names, the moves, the mechanics. But it was a little bit weird because where our game is themed, we came up with several characters, but we couldn't come up with any moves yet that worked with them, because everything needed to play upon whatever the character name is. Like, for example, you can see on the screen, it's the one with the red hat. That's Poop Shoot.
Nice.
And his moves are
oh no, that's a slider. My bad.
But that's also an example where his is home run and a whiff, which are both jokes that also work as baseball puns.
Oh,
so
right here. Here we go. Poop Shoot.
Yeah, so Poop Shoot, he's pro number 2, and I think it's Back the Poo.
Back the Poo, yep.
So every character had to have like multiple levels of poop jokes that had to go with it for it to work properly.
Yeah. For sure.
So it was quite the process. But then once we we don't have a Golgothan card, but we're talking about doing one in the second series.
That's awesome.
But it's just like getting everything ready as far as like the characters, the moves, working out the mechanics of the game played properly, which we got lucky and it happened to work like we wanted it to, like after the second test run. So we were, is just sometimes it just worked in our favor, and that happened to be one of those times.
Yeah. That's really cool. Mark says that companies are even grading these cards, and I did see on your Instagram a Beckett slab of Pooper Man, which is super
Yes.
cool. He's a pooper hero, and he does
Yeah.
crap tonight.
Crap tonight. Yeah.
Do you come up with what all of these say, like all of the moves and the characters, or is this like a
Yes.
joint collaboration?
That's mostly me. My wife and kid and Gavin, they've helped like throw out some names. Like my kid came up with the Turtonator, the Butler with 2 T's. That one was my son. But as far as like all the move names, I generally come up with those. But to talk about this, yeah, this was late last year. I got a message on Instagram from a guy that was the non-sports and gaming analyst from Beckett, and he had found us on Instagram and thought that the game was hilarious and asked us if we would like to submit and be in their database. And I was like, absolutely. Like it kind of like legitimized what we were doing. So, and we got the Pooperman back and it graded a 9. I was hoping for
That's
a 10, but
cool.
I'll take a 9. But we've got a bunch of cards out for grading now, so I'm excited to see it when those come back.
I got to be honest, I'm highly tempted to send this Craptis Jack into SGC. So I just feel like that black border is going to look really good in a tuxedo.
Oh, I bet it would.
Yeah. So I was getting ready to send. I have like some TJ Watt cards that are like black colored that I just would like to get in before the playoffs when the Steelers aren't playing anymore. You know what I mean? So I figured I'd get them in SGC because they'll be back in like a week or so. So I'm like highly considering tossing that Craptis Jack in there and getting that in a tux too.
I would love to see it when we get it back. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, real quick before we move on, I just want to give a quick shout out to my guy Mark and Bryce over at the Picksburgh Card Show this weekend, December 2nd, Saturday from 9 to 3 p.m. They're having a show in Castle Shannon, PA at the Volunteer Fire Department Memorial Hall. Suggest you guys come in. I'll be there. Marty will be there. I'm going to have a table, so definitely come by and see me. You'll see the big Picksburgh pop-up banner. Going to have some really cool cards there. And actually, you know what? I'll bring a couple of my cards I got out of the pack, too, if anybody's interested in checking out any of the Crap TCG. I'll bring some of my favorite cards for you guys to check out. But definitely come out. There's going to be over 100 tables there, sports cards, Pokemon, collectibles, all kinds of stuff. Mark and Bryce put on the best shows in Pittsburgh. So if you have any collectors in your life that are looking for Christmas gifts, this is an excellent time to come and get them. Another excellent time to come and get your Christmas gifts would be December 17th. Michael and I are going to be putting on a Collecting Profit Ho-Ho Holiday sports card and collectible auction. Then we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways that day as well. So you don't actually need to purchase anything to be eligible for a giveaway. You just need to hang out with us in the live stream. So that'll be December 17th at 5 p.m. Make sure you don't miss that. So Paul has a question here, Gate City Paul. He wants to know about your manufacturing process. Like, I guess anything that's not like, intellectual property that you can't share.
No, that's totally fine. So I'm a graphic designer and a print broker and run print shop. So I do all of the card printing, our posters, stickers, and all that stuff. I print in house. So we print all of that. Excuse me. We have to outsource the boxes and the wrappers because I don't have the ability to print those. But we assemble everything in Mount Pleasant, and it's all, with the exception of the boxes and the wrappers, it's all local.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
really
so
cool.
basically, it's a family operation. Me and my son, we package up the cards, get everything ready. He doesn't help me very often, but when he does, he does what he can. But
That's really
but yeah, it's really, if we're being honest, a lot of it's DIY. But luckily, I have the tool to make it so it doesn't look as such.
yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah, 'cause,
that's
just from like I said, having it in hand, super reminiscent of like the fronts kind of remind me of like the full art Lorcana look, and then the back is very reminiscent of a Pokemon
Pokemon
card.
card.
Like
Yeah,
you even have the swirl like they have on the back, only it's just like crap flowing out of the toilet, which is amazing.
yeah. When we first did the toilet swirl, originally it was water coming out and it was blue,
Yeah,
but it looked strange, and so we kind of fooled around with it. And obviously, like, well, I mean, it should be brown. So that's ended up what we ended up going with.
yeah.
Full fudge pop there. That's a fun one.
Bad romaine and brown horse. That's awesome. Yeah, that bad romaine will get you.
Yeah, here, and I'll show you something. We haven't really put them out yet. I don't know if you'll be able to see them on the feed, but we're working on the second series, and what that's going to be, we're calling it Funky Poops.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's kind of like a play on Funko Pops. But here's a couple of those I'll show you. So we've got. I'm not good with this camera. So you've got
Oh,
Sheldon
that's
Sheldon Pooper, and his moves are
nice.
Big Bung Theory and Poop Particle. Here I've got a couple more.
Yeah,
We're gonna redo a couple from series one. So there's the Funky Poops version of Dookie,
nice.
and his move is Brain Poo. And then one other one is, I'm so disappointed in myself that I didn't think of this one when we did the first series. But we've got Astronaut with two S's, and
Nice.
his moves are Uranus and Brown Hole.
Nice.
So, and these are promo cards that are in they're in some of the booster boxes. So you'll randomly open a booster box and it could have one of these three cards in it. And these are a limited run of 500 per card.
That's really cool.
But
Are there any big chase cards you guys have yet in any of your sets?
yeah, we've started putting in so all of the regular cards that are non-foil, all of those are starting to go into the packs. We have numbered cards and one of ones that we don't have listed on the site that are just randomly peppered in. But we also have numbered hollow cards as well. Like we've got there's a full art Pooperman that's a holographic card that is numbered through 10. And there is a I think there's a Motley Poo that is a hollow that's numbered through 25, and those are starting to go out into some of the packs.
You know, it would be kind of cool. Like, I don't know if you guys have thought of this, but have you thought of like doing like a sketch card or something like that? Like one
Yeah,
that could be still played? Well, actually, could that still be playable?
yeah,
It's called,
really, I would imagine
that
so.
would be really cool. Like if you're
Yeah,
doing one of ones that like have an actual, like the actual artist's like drawing, like rendered, like not so much like the actual card, but like more so like a sketch card. That'd be
sketch. Yeah,
super
that's a
cool.
really cool idea. That's a really cool idea. Yeah, we haven't really thought of that, but that is a good idea, and I will look into doing that because we could do that on several of them.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing these are kind of like your trainer cards that kind of like help you, or are these the
Those are
dump
Yeah,
cards
those
that
are the energy cards. We
okay.
call them dump cards just because we needed like a cool poop pun with it.
Yeah,
So we went with dump for those. We were originally going to call them pile cards, but then that was the original idea is they were going to be piles. But once we started going through and like making the rules for the game, and then we had to have like our flush pile, then we thought there would be confusion, so we just changed them to dump cards.
nice. Have you guys given any thought to doing like an online version to where like people that aren't able to like go to like a local shop, like say Guy on the Couch, and have because Josh has like basically game nights for almost every TCG that there is, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are in like remote areas that, you know, they might not have access to like finding other people to play TCG with. So have you ever thought about kind of like Pokemon has like an online atmosphere for people to be able to play the game?
We have talked about it, but logistically, it like with everything of getting this out has just been so much, especially since we're such a small operation. Then that would have to be down the pipeline, whether we get like an investor or if we get picked up or, you know, something along those lines. It's something that we want to do, but just right now, like putting this out in itself is just such a huge process. You know, it's something that we hope we can do, but just no real timeline of when we'd be able to make that happen.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that that's like a huge endeavor. You know, so either way, I think it's super cool. But yeah, that would be awesome to be able to like log in and like play it online and stuff like that. Mark gave a suggestion. How about artist signature inserts? That'd be
That's
kind of cool.
we are going to do that. I'm actually going to send Gavin a bunch of cards and have him autograph them. And then we're going to start putting those in. We were doing some where we would both autograph some and we were giving them to some of the dealers as giveaways for when people would buy. But we're going to do that fairly soon where we start to insert them in the packs.
That's really cool. Gate City Paul is asking is, I guess for contact info for not only him, but I guess anyone else that'd be interested in a possible wholesale deal or distribution deal to sell some of your product.
Yeah.
Is there like an address or somewhere that you'd like them to reach out to you for something like that?
Yeah, they can through the website, but really they could just email directly at sales@thatbannerguy.com. That's
Okay.
SALES at thatbannerguy.com, or they can call our 800 number, which is 8669-BANNER. Yeah, or if they go to the Old Crap Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, any of the socials, they can message through there, and then we can work out a deal because we do have wholesale pricing for dealers and everything like that as well.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, guys, I just put in the Instagram, the phone number, and the email address. I'll flash them on the screen for anybody that's going to be watching this on playback. I will try to add this into the description of the video after the fact too, so that way, you know, if it'll make it easier for anybody that's not live with us right now to get this information.
No, it's perfect. Thank you.
But again, guys, feel free to reach out to him, and he will make some of those deals with you guys if you'd like to move some of the stuff. Here's an interesting one. How about a scratch and sniff?
Yeah, you know what? That's funny. When we were doing it, we actually joked about that, and we thought about like how ridiculous that would be. But we, you know, obviously we decided against it. But yeah, that would be hilarious. Oh yeah,
I think that'd be great, Paul.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, please get a hold of me. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah,
Paul also has a YouTube channel where he does like a bunch of yard sale and reselling stuff, and he's also done a lot of sports cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I don't think that we're currently in any shops in North Carolina at the moment. I think that's one of the states that we haven't gotten into yet.
Cool. Paul's super well connected with like basically all the shows over there too, so he could help you get into that area.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So anybody else have any other questions in regards to the TCG or anything like that? Just out of curiosity, the mechanics of the game, is it very much like Pokemon in the sense that the energy powers up your character? There's like trainer type cards that kind of help the character along or to help you draw different cards, or like, can you kind of walk us through like somebody who's never ever seen a TCG, like how they would go about playing the game in like a simple.
Absolutely. So it plays similar to Pokemon. I tell a lot of people that it plays like Pokemon, except it's a little bit simplified. As where you don't need a bunch of stuff to play. You just need a deck and you need a coin, and that's really all you need. Everything is fairly self-explanatory as far as the move sets go. You can see the layout there, and basically what you do is you take your deck, you pull out your 6 energy cards or your 6 dump cards. You draw the top 5 cards in your deck. Those are going to be your starting hand, and then you draw your next 5, and those are going to be the cards that you keep in your hand. It plays to where the goal of the game is to flush all of your opponent's crappers, which is what we call the character cards. They're crappers. So the goal is to flush all your opponent's crappers. Now, as you play, depending on what cards you have up, what cards you have in your hand, there's a possibility that you're going to have to discard a dump card. You might have to draw a card from your deck. You could eliminate one of your opponent's cards, but we have it set up to where you play a move. For example, if you can't play the same move 2 times in a row. So once you attack with a move, you have to at least attack with something else on your next turn before you can come back to that. So that way, if you have a move that's fairly powerful against your opponent, then you can't just, keep dumping on them, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's a TCG, but it also plays like a strategy type card game as well. So you've got to be careful with what moves you play, how you play them. So it's a little bit different from like normal TCGs in that sense. But it's I'm trying to think of what I want to say here. And I don't know if you just saw me completely freeze up, but that was me and not my computer. So when we came up with the rules for the game, what we wanted to do was something that my kid could play with my dad. At the time, my kid was 11, my dad was 70. So we wanted to come up with a game that the rules were simple enough for everybody to understand and not feel overwhelmed when they played. And that's, that's how we kind of came up with like the strategy type and how we were going to make the game play.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because, I mean, like, for example, like I got really into Pokemon and stuff like that. But like my friends and stuff would be playing Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm just like, man, this is above my pay grade. Like, you know what I mean? This is for the kids that didn't eat the paint chips when they were growing up.
Right. Right. My kid wanted me to play games with him, but so I'm 46. And at the time, like I was like 43, and I was like, man, this is hard to learn.
Yeah.
Like, why don't I just make a game that's easier to play and we can laugh while we're doing it? And that's kind of, combined with my wife singing about Poopymon, and that's kind of how this whole thing came about.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's really cool. Kind of reminds me, like when I was a kid, like I was always obsessed with like poop and farts and stuff like that. I used to be like real into comics, like Marvel and DC, that kind of stuff. Like I had like the Adventures of Portaman. It was just me drawing with crayons in my bedroom. My mom's like, "What is this?" Like somehow she became like the villain of my story because she punished me that day or whatever.
That's amazing.
But somewhere in the house, she like still has that, even though I drew it when I was like 6 years old. You know what I mean? But like, it's just like whenever I first saw the TCG, it like brought me like right back to like being a 6-year-old drawing like Portaman in my like mom's like living room or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was just super cool. Brought back the nostalgia. Orlando, what's up, my man? Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you being here. So people can buy directly from you on the website. It looks like you got a little shopping.
Yeah. You can get the packs, the decks. You can get the booster boxes, shirts, all that stuff. We got all kinds of cool crap on there that you can buy. And the decks and the booster boxes are also available on Walmart.com. We don't have anything in store yet, but they're available through Walmart, but we're still working on getting things in store right now.
That's really cool. So have you found any of the local shops building game nights around this yet?
Not see where I'm at, there's not really much around here. Actually the closest real card shop to me is Guy on the Couch is Josh's. That's probably and well, there's Mere Sports Cards in Latrobe and they carry it, but they don't really do game nights. But I've talked with a couple of stores that are working on it, and there's a store called the Back Road Gypsy in Massillon, Ohio, and they've been doing game nights and it's been going pretty well from what I understand.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So any Ohio collectors, make sure you check out the Backroom Gypsy. Anybody that's from Pittsburgh, make sure you check out Guy on the Couch over in Monroeville. Josh has tons of game nights there. He does sell this product. I guess I just saw it on Small Business Saturday. Really, really awesome. But if you can't get to either of those locations, you can go to Walmart, as has been stated, or you can go to the website, which is craptcg.com. And you can buy packs and starter decks there as well. Is there only one starter deck right now? So, like, if you buy a starter deck, does everybody have the same cards?
Correct. So, yeah. So, if you buy a deck, the decks are static. The way that the game's designed, in theory, it should never play the same way twice. So, you could play with your deck, and as long as you're shuffling it up, it should play different every time. So, it's not like you're going to be playing the exact same game.
Okay, nice. Really cool. Shout out to Kelsylvania Reseller. What's up, Mal? Appreciate you being here tonight. That's really cool. So you got some T-shirts on there as well, and then a booster box.
Yeah. Oh, and we've got another shirt that's not up there yet. I don't think I have it nearby. There's a character, you can see him in the cards, but it's a play on Angus Young from AC/DC.
Okay. Nice.
But it's Anus Dung.
Nice.
And his band name is AMBM.
Nice.
So we have an AMBM shirt, and then like their song title is called Thunderbutt.
I might have seen that on your Instagram.
That was I printed one up and I wear it to the shows sometimes.
Oh yeah, here we go. So I'll share that. There we go.
Right. Yeah, there it is, the AMBM Thunderbutt shirt. You know, and it's just like it's completely absurd. Like and we came up with Anus Dung, and then I was like, all right, well, like, because all of the jokes have to have like multiple layers for them to work. So, like, for example, like, you know, he's the guitarist in AMBM. His moves are Thunderbutt and Back and Crack. And then and it talks about, so each card has the flavor text at the bottom where you talk about the character, and there's other jokes thrown in, like, for example, like their moves are like their songs are It Took Me All Night Long.
Yeah.
So nice. It's all like a play on whatever, you know, it's a lot of like AC/DC jokes, but that's AMBM is probably my second favorite joke of the game. And I think my favorite is probably I don't know if you've seen, it's the Bulkster.
No,
it's a thing of Hulk Hogan, and his moves are Wild Runs, and I can't remember the other one, but his tagline is "What you gonna do when the Bulkster gives you the wild runs?" It's just
nice.
And then he has a variant version, which is a mega rare. There's 5 or 6 mega rares in the game, and the hit rates on those are there's 1 per case, so it's 1 in every 6 boxes. There's a mega rare. Nice. But the mega rare version of him is he's wearing all black, and he's the Third World Order, or the TWO.
Nice.
So, you know, and it's just like something like that was just one of the ones that was like just happened to like work out so well when we were putting the characters together.
Yeah, for sure. How many characters do you guys have so far?
So in Series 1, there are 90 different characters, and then almost every character has a variant version.
Okay.
There's a handful that don't, and some of them have multiple variants. Like, for example, so the cards in the starter deck. So those are the base cards number 1 through 30, but those versions of the cards are only available in the decks.
Okay.
And then if you find one of those in the booster pack, it's going to be the variant version. So like that flatulence one that the first one you had, that's the variant version, as opposed to the one in the thing. And the difference of those is the background is different.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, so like Kickfarter there, he has
Mhm.
two other variants. He has a black and a red version. Uh,
Okay.
Porta Potty there doesn't have a variant. Colostomy Hag, her variant in the her version is in the starter deck, and her eyeshadow is purple.
Okay.
So, and then Marshall Farts has two more, and he has a gray and a black version, I believe. Yes, that's a good. I saw Mark's question. We actually did that. We did it. We ran a Kickstarter,
Oh, that's awesome.
and we had a couple. And in the pack that you open, there's one. It's called Cornelius Cobb Wallace, and
Yeah.
that was one that somebody had backed it. And one of their things was they got to name a character, and that was where Cornelius Cobb Wallace came from. It was
Nice.
a corn cob joke.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I was just checking to see. I have a whole bunch of cards I just ripped right here. I was going to pull it out if it was handy, but it doesn't look like it is, unfortunately. But you guys can see it here from the TikTok in the background. It's one of the cards from that booster pack I opened. How many packs come in the booster box, and are they the same packs that we're seeing here, just with me opening?
Correct. Yeah. So it's the same pack. There's 20 packs per box, and there's 9 cards per pack.
In this specific pack, did I hit anything like crazy?
Let's look and see. I think that most of the ones that you hit in this pack are commons.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see. I'm pointing at the screen, like you can tell what I'm looking
Uh,
at. So some of these are first run cards.
okay.
Do you see the little, like right underneath the second move description in the box?
Is it this
There
one here
is
on the left or on the right?
at the bottom. There's a small black bar right above the flavor text.
Yep, right here.
Yes, right there. So if there's nothing in that black bar across the bottom, if there's
Yeah.
nothing in the black bar, that's a first run card.
Okay.
Because what happened is the original plan, we weren't going to do different rarities on the cards. So they were
Okay.
all going to be pretty much the same run. And then when we got contacted by Beckett, we had to right
Is this
there.
what you're
So
talking about right here with these
correct.
symbols?
So
Okay.
whenever
So
we got picked up by Beckett, they wanted rarities. So we had to go
okay.
through and redo a lot of stuff. So basically we broke it down to common rare, ultra rare, mega rare, secret rare.
Hmm.
Um, and then so the Craptus Jack, that's a secret rare because it has 5 poops.
Nice.
So if you go through and look, so anything without a poop there, that's a first run card.
Okay.
Those are super limited runs. And then anything with a 1, 2, 3, 4 is your common, rare, ultra rare, mega rare. But I
Okay.
think mostly in the pack, I think it's mostly commons. But it looks like you have multiple first run cards in there. So
Nice.
if it goes well and we continue to sell a lot of them, then there's potential that those are going to be probably the ones that will be more desirable.
Nice.
Yeah,
Now, how does that feel like as somebody who created this game to like see like Walmart picking it up, to see local card shops picking it up? That's got to feel pretty awesome.
it does. It's super exciting. Like,
Hmm.
because when you're making something, regardless of what it is, like you never know how people are going to react. You don't know if people are going to like it. You don't know if people are going to buy it. You don't, people be like, this might be the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. Um, right. But as like it started to get out there, like we were getting positive responses, and to see like people pick it up, like it's super exciting. It's
Yeah.
just, like I mean, I can't even really put it into words. And like I've been tagged on stuff where people are playing it, and it's been weird. We've gotten several people like in certain areas, like there's a guy in Oregon, and he's probably bought like 5 or 6 decks, just at different times and stuff. And he's going out and getting his friends to play with him. And there's a guy in Virginia, and I think he's bought a bunch of decks in like 5 or 6 booster boxes, and he was like, he's like, I'm getting all my friends to play, we're doing it, and I was like, that kind of stuff is just so exciting to see.
Sure.
We've been working on this for a couple of years now, and we're at the point now where like we can kind of like lean back and lean into like getting it out there and promoting it. So that's what we've been working on for the past few months, and we're doing a bunch of big runs here with Christmas coming up, because they make, these packs are good stocking stuffers. Nothing, crap is the ultimate stocking stuffer is what I always say.
Yeah, you guys are in some pretty decent number of places in Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. You got some nice spots.
Yeah, and there's some more. There's quite a few that haven't been updated yet, but we're in Illinois now, Wisconsin, Missouri, Minnesota.
That's
We've got
awesome.
several that we haven't gotten up there yet, but it's a process, especially just a couple of us doing this.
Yeah.
And we've got an assembly. Actually, we had to move everything as far as the game is like now being assembled in my basement. So we've taken over like almost my entire basement. We've got a massive setup that has over 100,000 cards sitting on it, waiting to be packaged.
Wow. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's a process, but it's been a ton of fun, and I've done a ton of shows this year and met a bunch of people, and we've sold quite a few, and it's exciting to see, because normally at every show that we do, we usually pick up a couple more stores,
Mhm.
which is fun, which means we're doing something right.
For sure. And these are some good shops. Like just being from the Pittsburgh area, and I've gone to a ton of the Ohio shops too, just over the years. You're in some pretty legitimate places, like Josh's place is like really, really popular for TCG right now too. So I think that's going to be a good place for people to actually want to sit down, learn the game, and like expand the community of people that are actually playing it. So I
Yeah.
think that's a great shop. Love seeing you over at G&T too. Those guys are really awesome. I have to make it back to their shop. I haven't been there in a couple months, but I love what they're doing for the community with the arcades and stuff. So I love seeing not only are you in like legitimate places, but you're in like places like with just really good people too. It's really good to see.
Yeah, we've been super lucky. We've had the opportunity to meet some pretty cool people, and anytime we go through somewhere, like I'll stop in a handful of the Ohio stores. Like we were just driving through, and I saw a store, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go in and pitch the game." And I go in
Yeah.
and I show them what we've got, I tell them what it is, and then we've gotten people to pick it up, and it's just been, we've been incredibly lucky, and we've also worked hard, but we've gotten pretty lucky.
I mean, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like you can't. I don't think you can be a fan of cards or card collecting and also farts and poop and not think this is cool.
Right, 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 right. Yeah,
Like
I mean,
both me and my girlfriend both like stopped dead in our tracks and we're just like we just were just stuck on these cards for like the part of like 10 minutes. Just
oh
like
man, that's great. I appreciate that. Like that's the stuff I like to hear, because diarrhea Ripley, that is a good idea. And yeah, actually, we've got a BM dump card I need to start doing some posts for now, that with the return
oh
of
yeah.
CM Punk. Yeah, we've got a bunch of wrestling themed cards, but yeah, I like diarrhea Ripley. I think that's actually a really good one. That's a good one, Mark.
Yeah. And you know what would be awesome too is like it seems like another good market would be with you having so many wrestling cards is maybe even some like local like independents like back in the day, like I don't know if you're familiar with, probably not since you just really met me, but I used to wrestle with the NWA through some like Pittsburgh territories, and
Okay.
they actually used to sell like wrestling cards, like
Yeah.
of this is one of me, like back in the day when I used to be a little bit heavier, but they used to sell cards like this at the actual independent wrestling shows. So as you're going through, people be buying like cards of their like favorite wrestlers. So I think that'd be kind of cool if like you
Yeah.
had the opportunity at something like that, to grab a Crap Jack or something like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can even like get lucky to where some of the older wrestlers are there. So maybe Mick Foley's doing a signing, and people could get autographed Crap Jacks or something like that. That'd be kind of
We'll
cool.
see. Okay, so like let me give you a little bit of backstory. So like back in 2017, so I used to be a wrestler as well. I did
Nice.
my gimmick. I was Richie Action, mostly wrestled
Nice.
in West Virginia and traveled around a bit, but I was trained by Frank
awesome.
Parker and Brian Logan. I don't know if Brian Logan was can't remember his gimmick name in OVW, but he was part of the stable with Batista and Wolfie D back before Batista got called up.
Nice.
So like I had a bunch of guys like that, and I owned I had a recording studio before I moved to Pennsylvania when I lived in Indiana, and we had a venue and we do wrestling shows, and like I'm good buddies. I don't know if you know who Madman Pondo is.
It sounds familiar, but not off the top of my head.
He's like a death match wrestler, but we have a character of him. It's Madman Pondo in the game. But so I started doing wrestling cards for them to sell at their gimmick tables. And I did first one I did was a guy named Big Beef Gnarls Garvin. I did one for the Amazing Maria, who's in that Netflix documentary, Wrestlers.
Nice.
But that's how I started getting into printing cards, is because I was doing them for wrestlers.
That's really cool. Small world.
Right. And then I was doing like an independent set, and I've got some guys from like Louisiana and Texas, and started getting cards done. And then I ended up meeting up with a couple guys that do autograph signings. So I've done cards for like Tommaso Ciampa.
Nice.
He's a bunch of old names like DiBiase, Shane Douglas,
nice.
bunch of the old names, a ton of those guys. But and I also do all the cards for Toy Hio. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Toy Hio.
No, but I see Rick gave you a comment here on the website. Said, "Oh crap, makes all their card games #2."
Yeah. yeah. So Rick is awesome. He runs Toy Hio, and he owns Time Capsule Toys in Niles, Ohio. And I print a bunch of stuff for them. So and that was what got me into like, well, I could make a TCG because I had the ability to print cards.
Yeah.
So, and when I had a lot of other people that I'd read that they wanted to do it, but they couldn't pull it off because it cost so much. And if you have to outsource all that, then it costs an arm and a leg. But since I had the ability, I was like, well, I think I can get my costs down enough to where it can be semi-profitable. Even if it doesn't do super well, I'm not going to like lose my butt on it,
For sure.
So, yeah. Sorry, that got super long-winded. I apologize. But
no, not at all, man. I like hearing those little tidbits, because it's a small world that we kind of were both into wrestling at one point.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun. I was just telling my wife the other day, like how much like I miss doing it. But now I'm old and like I'm out of shape, and like if I ran the ropes, like I'd be blown up immediately. So it's just like hard pass now.
Yeah, I ended up destroying my back and hips and everything. So it's like now it's like I probably couldn't even physically do it. But yeah, every time I'm around it, I start to miss it.
Right.
My friend Blaze McCoy, he has a YouTube channel called Blazed Radio. He just debuted as a ring announcer. I don't know, it's close to a year ago now. But that was like the last time I was really at an indie show. And it's like literally every time I'm there, no matter how long I'm away from it, it's like the itch automatically comes back. It's like if you're a drug addict getting that first hit of crack again after like so many years, it's like, damn it never leaves you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Just like it's like in your bones, man.
Yeah. You see him like, I want to do that again. I know I probably shouldn't. I have a buddy of mine. He's from West Virginia. I used to wrestle with his dad years ago, but he would wrestle in RWA in West Newton. His name was
there before.
Ryan Edmonds. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he is like as far as indies goes, he's like the absolute like best heel ever. And like I love the guy to death. And I never got to go see him. He hasn't been back around for a while, but the next time that he's around in West Newton, like I'm gonna go watch him. Like he's just phenomenal. Like I would watch him work all day long.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's a ton of guys that really don't ever get to shine, from the indies, either because they're not the right size, they don't have the right look,
Yep.
or like maybe they have personal issues that kept them from ever kind of staying disciplined enough to make it or whatever. But
Right.
and like some of the guys that come through, like I know just in the time I was from training all the way through like to my injury and everything, like CM Punk came through, Daniel Bryan came through. Corey Graves was Sterling James Keenan back then, and he was wrestling all of the local places. They had a FNW. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It was in like Cheswick, PA. They had their own like little territory there. So I met his brother, who was Sam Elias at the time. Now he's Sam Adonis. He's like wrestled all over. Like I think he was in NXT for a little bit, but didn't really make it too far there. But he's been in like England, Mexico, like all over the place. Like
That's amazing.
it's just wild. Like just like little podunk, like McKeesport, Pennsylvania. I'm getting trained up, and like all of these people who either went on to be something or whatever, like came through, or like guys that were in the WWE, came through or whatever. It was just
Right.
It's like a living the dream almost.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's back in the day that we used to bring in when we were in West Virginia running, I say we, but I didn't book or anything. But they would bring in a lot of old names. Like they brought, like I tagged up with Ricky Morton for a while.
Awesome.
They brought in Bobby Eaton, Steve Carino. I don't know if you remember Chris Hamrick.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. He was on his way up, and man, Hamrick was amazing. He was so good. And then at the venue that I used to have when we were in New Albany, we'd run shows. We had Crazy Mary Dobson, but then she's Sarah Logan in WWE. Now she's Valhalla. And she would work, man, I'm gonna tell you what, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, she would work shows, and she would wrestle circles around every guy on the show.
Mm-hmm.
She was amazing. Like absolutely amazing. Like she was so good. But we brought in like Lufisto, she was phenomenal. We had like Sabu. Tracy Smothers was at all the shows before he passed. He was probably like one of the coolest guys I've ever met in the business.
Mm-hmm.
He would sit in the back, and then he would watch everyone's match. And when they would come back, he would say, he goes, "If you'd like me to tell you, I'll give you my thoughts on it." And everybody was always wanted to hear what Tracy Smothers had to say. But yeah, so it was cool, man. We, and you know how it goes. You get to meet a lot of cool people, and you never know where somebody's going to end up.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's always cool to see people that like I know, like for example, like Johnny Gargano, like he's from Cleveland. So like anybody that was wrestling the tri-state circuit, like most likely like was on shows with him, and like seeing him on WWE now and like everything. And Corey Graves just had a kid with Carmella, so it's like such a small world. Like all of these like famous like wrestlers, it's like, oh yeah, I remember whenever we were setting up rings together back in the day, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean, back whenever these people were paying their dues or whatnot.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, man. It's fun to see it. Like you never know. Like there was a kid, he was in, I can't remember what he was. Have you ever heard of Chance Prophet?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So like we used to work with him when he was training, and then man, I mean, but like he's so good, and he's got like one of the best gimmicks I've seen on the indies. Like I know that he had a couple tryouts for WWE, but like that, like he should be a star. He's incredibly good, and you probably know multiple people that should be on TV every week, but they aren't, and for whatever reason, and it's a shame. But yeah, there's some super good indie wrestlers out there, and a lot of people don't realize what they're missing by not going to those shows.
For sure. And they're so cheap too, and it's like the worst seat is like you're in the second or third row,
Yeah. Right, yeah. And it's like everybody jokes like, yeah, it's the Stars of Tomorrow. And I was like, well, I mean, I've been on some of those shows with those guys that are in WWE or AEW now. So yeah, like it's true, like we used to wrestle at the Jammers skating rink where CM Punk wrestled for IWA Mid-South, so like,
That's
and
awesome.
he was in a skating rink full of like 50 or 60 people,
That's
and
really cool.
now he's breaking the internet.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it works.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, it's wild, like, and this is a perfect time for you to release that CM Punk card too, like
I
especially
know,
with
I know. I need to start like doing. I normally try to like do things when they're topical, as far as like
yeah,
TikTok and posts. So if something
yeah,
happens in the world, or if it's like a celebrity and we have a card for it, like, hey, look what we got, a poop joke for this.
yeah. I mean, you can really play this on anything, like depending on how often you want to have like new sets or whatever released, but like, I mean, even like coming up on like the presidential debates or whatever, you know
Mm.
what I mean? You could like make like Donald Dump or whatever, you know what I
We
mean? I don't know. You might already have one for all I know.
we have Donald Dump and Joe Bidet.
No, nice.
Um, and then Donald Dump's moves, I think, are It's Huge and Dump Tower.
Nice.
And I think I can't remember Joe Bidet's, but it's like Politician and something else. I can't remember what his other move is. But
Awesome.
we've got like Flush Rimbaugh. Geez whiz, I can't even remember. We've got a couple of them that we don't have the cards made for, but we have the characters. We got Ted Poos.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
we got a bunch of them. We're sitting on a bunch of names for the second series that we just haven't either come up with the move sets, or we don't have the artwork done yet.
Yeah.
But everything's in motion for the next one. But we're just kind of like taking a break, because
Yeah.
this was literally about 16 months straight that we've been working on this to get it out.
Yeah, that's wild. But I mean, you guys did a really nice job on it. Like the art's cool, like the thought that went behind it, like even just like the character and then his move set or her move set, like the fact that they all correlate. It's just like, even if you don't want to play the game, even as like a novelty, it's just really cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see how you have a bad time opening this.
That's when I tell people what it is, I explain to them that it's like a cross between Pokemon and Garbage Pail Kids, except
Yeah.
all of the characters are made of poop, and all of their moves are some sort of poop joke based upon the character. Like right there on the screen that you're on,
Yeah.
you've got Incontinence Jones, and then his
Yep.
moves are like Temple of Dew and the Lost Fart.
Nice.
You
That's
know,
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, you got Bung Franklin there too.
Right,
That's
and
your
his moves
political one.
are, yeah, constitutional and founding farter.
That's awesome. um, Looks like the lady fella here is saying that you should have a purely
Have it,
political pack or a
yeah,
stars or singers pack, kind of like, I'm guessing she means kind of like the Pop Century type thing, where
right,
you have
right.
the actors and famous people. That'd be really cool.
That that's a good idea. We have enough singers or bands that we could do packs, because like we've got like Bung Jovi, Dolly Parton, Motley
Yeah,
Poo. Yeah, we've got a bunch of parody cards of those. Fart again. A bunch of parody cards where we could do that. So yeah, fart again. Mark, that's ridiculous.
that's
I don't
awesome.
know if everybody, as they're watching the feed, can see the comments pop up, or if that's just us that can see them.
Yeah, everybody can see the
Okay,
comments.
okay, okay. Because otherwise, it would look like I just said that for no reason. So I
Yeah,
want to make sure that people can see them.
I think he said Fartageddon. That's cool too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
They're
then
both cool.
here, I'll show you. I'll show you two of my favorite cards, though, if that's okay,
Yeah,
real
absolutely.
quick. So
Love looking
this,
at cards.
so this one for me is mostly the move set is the joke that I like the best, which is Crap and Crunch.
Oh, nice.
And then I can't figure this out, but his moves are oops, all dingleberries.
That's awesome.
You know, 'cause, I mean, you've got the oops, all crunchberries, but but like it's just like this is how my brain works. And then the possibilities are down the pooper. And then this is one that my kid came up with the name that he's very proud of. Um, why can't I use my camera? It's the Turdinator.
I saw that one at Guy on the Couch.
Yeah, then his moves are Asta, Lakeister, and I'll be crap.
That is awesome.
So like it was. Oh, and real quick here, I've got this one out too. That's the Dookie monster card,
Oh, nice.
and it's the Me Want Dookie and Dookie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah, and out here I'm gonna read you the flavor text because just so you get an idea for Dookie Monster, it says
Yeah.
the ever hungry Dookie Monster wants nothing more than to eat a hot, fresh, melty Dookie. Don't leave a hot one unattended or it will be devoured. You know.
That's awesome.
So, but this is what my life has become.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You're literally writing fart jokes for a living.
I am. It's so ridiculous, but yeah, it's been like so much fun.
Yeah,
So
I
much.
can imagine.
Yeah.
So we got a question here. Richie, is this what your family talks about when around the dinner table?
It was, and then my wife was like, "I don't want to hear anything else about this game ever again." So now we don't.
Yeah.
And I can't blame her because like it was all consuming for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now like I'll just sit around and like I'll hear something, then I'll giggle to myself, and then like I'll like write it down in my phone, like whatever poop joke I just came up with.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, my family's like that too. Like I always would tell my girlfriend that my family would always say growing up, we're more like the Bundys than we are like the Bradys.
Right. Yeah. Yes, yeah, I feel like that's very relatable.
Hmm. Yep. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, Lady
True.
Phillip, but he did say that she was singing a what was the song again?
It was you gotta crap them all, poopy mon.
Poopymon, that's right.
Yeah.
And that was kind of where the original thought for the game came into play.
Yeah.
The city of Fartopolis.
Hardopolis.
That's where Pooperman's from.
Yeah, and then we also have the Shat Man, and he's from
Nice.
Flusham City.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the
That's
Shat
really
Man
cool.
has two well, he's got two different variants. He's got the brown and green, and then he's got the classic blue and gray, and then just the black and gray. So yeah, there's old Chewbacca. Yeah, Russell runs.
Go through a few of the stuff in the IG. Just show you guys a few. There's a little display from one of your shows. This is Toy Palooza in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Here's Pooperman. This is the one that was graded by Beckett. That's going to feel awesome to look through Pop Report and see a card that you created on there.
It most certainly is. I coming up with the game, that was probably the moment that I felt like this is going to work. Whenever like I got a message from Beckett, and at first I was like, this can't be real. Like there's no way. Like there's no way. Like somebody's messing with me. And then I looked up the guy and I talked to him for a bit, and he was like, "This is what we need from you." And it took like 4 months from the time that he told me to actually like get to the point where like they put us in their database. And I was afraid to tell anyone because I didn't want somebody to think, oh, like if it didn't work out, like, oh, he was just saying this sell more product. So I just sit on it for like 4 or 5 months until it went live, and then finally, like when it came out, I was like, look. This is real. I didn't make this up.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, there's Dookie Monster as well.
But that's cool that Beckett did their due diligence too, that they weren't just like, oh, this is something I've never heard of. They like actually looked up, hey, what is Crap TCG? Reached out to the actual owner and verified that this is a licensed like product or this is a real product. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah, Incontinence Jones, there's that one.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is just super cool, man. Like I said, I've had a really fun time just like going over the product and opening it and stuff like that. And my girlfriend and I are just starting to get into TCG together, so we might have to see if we can get some games going. A guy on the couch with this.
That would be awesome. Yeah, and like I said, like it's fun for everyone, but I have noticed that because with the theme, it kind of skews younger a lot of times. But I've had several people that have kids and that they've played it, and they said that it was a good way to get them into TCGs. Because obviously, like, it was easy to play. It wasn't overly hard to understand with the rules because it's all self-explanatory on the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was it works really well for that. The picture that you had up previously just a moment ago, that's the black, or the one before that one. That's the black suit variant Pooper Man.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then there's also a full art variant, which is a mega rare, and that's probably the second hardest. That's the one that I've graded, the full art.
Okay.
That's probably the second hardest card in the game to find.
Okay.
That one right there.
Oh, did I pass it? Oh, okay. So the same one that was graded.
That one right there, yeah. So that one doesn't have the border. So I think that there's 3 full art cards in the first series that are variants. There's Pooper Man, there is Johnny Stinch, and
Nice.
There's a full art Anus Dung as well.
Nice. That's really cool. I love the full art work that you guys have here. Just like the way it looks, presents really nicely. I mean, how can you hate a turd? You know? Everybody thinks they're funny for the most part.
Here, and I'll tell you one thing fun about this card. So my dad, he's first off, my dad's hilarious, but he's in his 70s. And I showed him, and he thought that they were funny. And then I was telling him about this card. I was like, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Pooper Man. And he was like, why would you not say it's a turd, it's a plane, it's Pooper Man?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, cool, thanks, Dad. So if you look on the card, his flavor text is, it's a turd, it's a plane.
That's awesome. Yeah, I see that down here at the bottom.
Thank my dad for that one. He's got some good ideas.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and like I said, everything is just well thought out. Like even that like small bit of text down there is just like it just adds to the theming of the card. Now, do you have like a card like this? Is there like a specific print run on this that you're able to like share, or is this like something that would be like, you know, like a one of one type card?
So this one, it's got a limited print run comparatively. So it will probably be, I think that this card, I think we maxed out at like 10,000 of those.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that those are all going to go in circulation.
Gotcha.
And what we're going to do is once we start getting them out. So for example, like this is a mega rare. So there's I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 mega rares that there are. So those are going to be there's one per case. So one for every 6 boxes.
Okay.
So depending on how many we sell, it might only have a run of like 2,000 that are in circulation, and then the rest will get destroyed. And then when we're done with series 1, we'll have a better idea of what that number is, but it won't be more than 10,000 of those cards.
Okay. Nice. That's really cool.
And then anything that's like super rare, like a 1 of 1 or a numbered card, those will be numbered on the card.
Okay.
But any sort of variant, like super limited run, those are all foil cards.
Okay.
Or
nice.
hollow cards.
Okay. Nice.
Which I don't think I have any of those around me, but I think I've got the only hollow card I have nearby is I have this Madman Pondu card.
Okay. Nice.
You know, but you can see it's all
shiny
and whatnot there. But yeah, I don't think I have any of the numbered cards around.
I'll see if I have any available on your Instagram. Show it off nicely at least. But you guys can see just here's that the Bulkster you were talking about.
Oh, that's really cool. The TWO, and Wild Run. This is Oh, awesome. You know what? So yeah, and that version has a different move. So the regular and the other variant, his moves are Bulkamania and Wild Runs, and then this one has the TWO as his second move. So a lot of the variants either have different color schemes or different backgrounds. But a couple of them will have different moves as well, just because we thought it was fun to do.
Okay, nice. That's really cool. I just like the design on that too. That looks really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, that one's it's just so. I mean, it's just Hulk Hogan as poop. You know, it's just like It's so ridiculous.
Have you ever had any of the actual people like reach out to you like, "Hey man, what'd you make a turd of me for?"
Uh, I know that Mick Foley saw Crap Jack and thought it was funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
yeah. We've had a couple people that do you know who James Ellsworth is?
Yeah,
I've talked to him and we're gonna do a James Smellsworth card. And
nice.
we'll probably have him do some autographs and
That would be really cool.
um, donate those to charity and stuff like that. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the gray and blue Shatman.
Yep. That's pretty cool.
That's a fun one. Oh yeah, and then there's Rudy Poo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mac Brown and Candy Ass.
Yeah, that's just one of the ones where like the joke writes itself and he's got the
Yeah.
big tattoo on his arm.
Hey, thanks, Mark. I appreciate that, brother. He says, great guest. Watching Richie Ray's the best. Very cool show tonight. Long live the poopisms.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Mark. I appreciate that.
Yeah, this has been awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on this
Oh,
evening.
dude, I appreciate you having me on. This has been a blast.
Yeah, man. Is there anything we haven't shown off or addressed, like in regards to the actual TCG that you'd want me to show off or to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it all. But yeah, we do have wholesale pricing for any dealers or stores that are interested in carrying it. If there's any other YouTubers out there or anybody that does a podcast that want me to come on and talk or want to get some product to show off on their channel, by all means, get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to try to accommodate as much as I can because it's all about the hustle at this point, trying to get out there to as many people to see it as possible.
Absolutely, man. Well, again, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. It's been a joy for me just as a fan of the product. You know what I mean? Like I genuinely enjoy what you do. So keep
Thanks.
up the good work. I'll be pulling for you. Like I said, I'll bring my Craptus Jack to the show this Saturday, and I'll have that and a couple other cards there. If anybody
That's
wants to actually see the product in hand, I'll have a few cards there. So come on over to my booth. You can't miss it. I'll have like a pop-up banner with myself and Marty on it. It'll say Picksburgh. So
awesome.
love to see you guys this Saturday. It'll be 9 to 3 again. Let me throw that banner up. For anybody that'd like to come, feel free to just go ahead and pause the live, and all the details are there. Like I said, Pittsburgh Card Show guys put on the best shows in Pittsburgh. It's not even close. So make sure you guys come out for that. And again, Richie, thank you so much today, man. I genuinely appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, real quick, next
Yeah.
time that I run into you at a show that I know that you're going to be at, I have 2 secret Halloween cards that we did that didn't get released. We gave them out in Halloween packs. So I'll grab a couple of those and I'll bring them to you next time I know you're going to be somewhere.
That'd be awesome, man. I really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem at all, man. Again, thank you so much. It's been a blast.
Oh, dude, definitely. And I can't wait to actually meet you in person too.
Yeah.
Connect
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
more. Cool. Well, again, guys, make sure you guys check back next week. Michael should be back. We have 2 guests coming on next week. It's a couple that do some reselling on eBay and on whatnot, but they also have a screen printing business. So I guess kind of similar to kind of how you started, but they do a lot of graphic decals and stuff like that. So
okay, excellent.
about that next week. So should be a good time. Come on back. Michael, like I said, Michael will be back as well, guys. But we appreciate you joining us. And until next week, God bless you. Take it easy, guys.